Welcome to the root of all success with the real Jason Duncan, a podcast that explores how the world's most powerful entrepreneurs unlocked success and how their stories can help you do the same. A successful educator turned entrepreneur, Jason has built multi-million-dollar businesses that have been featured in Inc. magazine and Entrepreneur magazine. His life's mission now is helping entrepreneurs live what he calls #the exit lifestyle. Introducing TEDx speaker, mastermind leader, author, entrepreneur, cigar aficionado, motorcycle enthusiast, and host of The Root of All Success, the real Jason Duncan. The real Jason Duncan.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of The Root of All Success. I'm your host, the real Jason Duncan, and today it's just you and me. I had a really interesting conversation this morning with a listener to the podcast who came down from Canada to visit a friend of his who lives here, whom I happen to know. And then his friend happened to know that this guy knows me. He said, "Hey, can you set up a meeting with the real Jason Duncan?" So that's cool, getting to meet a fan of the show. But one of the things that we talked about today was he said that he really enjoyed the solo episodes where it's just me talking. And I really appreciate that feedback because I enjoy doing the solo episodes. I don't do them often, but I'm doing one for you today. And I hope you're having a great day wherever you are, listening to this in your car, listen to your AirPods or your earbuds or whatever you're doing, walking the dog, working out, laying in bed, whatever you're cleaning the house, whatever you got going on today. I hope that you're having a good day because today I'm going to be talking about the concept of busyness. And there's a big difference between busyness, being busy in our life, and being productive. And my encouragement to you today in this show is going to show you the difference between these two, of busyness and productivity. And my encouragement in this show is going to make you stop being busy. As you know, I wrote the book called Exit Without Exiting, which I'll show right here on screen. And this book is all about how entrepreneurs are trapped in the ironic prison of entrepreneurship, mainly because of busyness. They're trapped because they don't know how to delegate. They don't know how to get their time back. They don't know how to free themselves up so that they're not busy all the time. And so today's show is going to be diving a little bit into the concept of how we can be more productive and less busy. So I've written notes. I'm going to be looking off screen. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you're going to see my eyes wander. It's because I'm looking at my notes. I made a New Year's resolution several years ago. I think it was in the year 2018. And I said, you know what? This year, I am not going to answer the question, how you doing? Or how are things going with busy? Like I'm going to not say that for an entire year. Unless it's true. That's the only way I'm going to say it is if it's true. And so what happened, it was several months into that year before I was actually able to say I was busy. And because I was paying attention to this, I realized that I was being much more productive than I'd ever been before. And I didn't feel as stressed as I did before because busyness is just having too many open cycles at any one time. And that's what causes stress. According to a survey by the American Psychological Association, 80% of respondents reported experiencing stress due to excessive busyness. And so if you always answer the question, how you doing with, man, I'm busy. Things have been busy. Or somebody says, you've been busy? Oh, yeah, I've been busy. That is not a badge of honor. See, busyness is a trap. And there's a prevalence in our modern society today where busyness and being busy is a badge of honor. And in our culture, you know, if somebody's not busy, we look at them as like they're slackers. And in fact, that is not true. You know, anytime that we're busy and it hinders our ability to accomplish a significant goal, that should be seen as a problem. You know, there's the story that I think it was Stephen Covey who told the story in his book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, about the filling of the jar with big rocks, medium rocks, and small rocks. And the idea here is that if you try to fill that jar with little rocks first and then big rocks, or little rocks, then medium, then big, you'll never fill the jar. You have to fill the jar with the big rocks first. You put the big ones in and then the medium ones in, start fill the gaps, and then the small ones can go in the gaps around. And that's how we should approach our tasks in life, is we should approach our task by taking care of the big rocks first, making sure that we're paying attention to the most important things in our life first, But what busyness does, and in our society that rewards busyness and gives a badge to those who are busy, is that we're busy with the little rocks. We're busy with the crap that doesn't matter. Like you ever been busy and then looked up all day, you've been busy and you looked up, I didn't get nothing done. Well, you did. You got a lot done, but nothing of any importance. I've had days like that. I hate days like that. One of the things that I keep up with in my is this. I've got this Think and Grow Rich performance planner. It's my daily planner. So if you're looking at this on YouTube, you can see this. It's leather bound. It's very nice, and it's got pages for every single day. And on the right hand side of the page, there's a place to write to dos. And I haven't done it in a while, and I need to get back to this. I used to divide that to do list up into 3 columns: big rocks, medium rocks, and small rocks. And so every time I had to write down a to-do, I had to make a quick decision: is which rock is this? Is this a little one, a big one, or a medium one? And then you put it in the right column. And so every time I found myself at a break of not knowing what to do next, I would go to the big rock column first. Let's get those done first because they make the most sense. And we need to do that. And studies have shown that chronic busyness can lead to an increased risk of heart disease and mental health disorders. And goodness knows we are in a mental health crisis in this country. And perhaps it's because we are, one reason, of course, not all of the reasons, but is because we as business owners and entrepreneurs are too busy. We're not slowing down. So productivity is different than busyness. Productivity is being productive. It's getting stuff done. And you can be more productive if you have clarity, if you have purpose, and if you're intentional about being productive. And that goes back to the big rocks, small rocks, and the medium rocks illustration, is that we can get clarity of our purpose and we can be intentional about being productive if we know what tasks we are supposed to be accomplishing at any given time. Research suggests that individuals who prioritize productivity over busyness report higher levels of satisfaction and accomplishment in their lives. So we need to break free from the cycle of busyness. And that's what I want you to do, is I want you to explore the underlying causes of why you are busy all the time. Why are you constantly spinning your wheels and yet not getting anywhere? It's like, I love riding my bicycle. I've got a bicycle that I ride 3 or 4 mornings a week for exercise. But when the weather's bad or it's cold outside or whatever, I've got a little bike stand, a trainer that I put the bike on, and it lifts the back wheel off the ground and I can ride without moving. I don't really enjoy that a lot because I get the sense of doing something, but I never leave my garage. That's what's going on in your life right now as an entrepreneur who's busy all the time. You're moving, a lot's getting done, calories are getting expended, sweat may be happening, but you're still in the garage. You haven't moved. And in entrepreneurship, you don't get rewarded for doing stuff. You get rewarded for changing things. And the only way you can change things is you actually have progress and if you're productive. And that's why I think setting goals is really important. That's why I think delegation is important. I talk about delegation all the time.
Let's take a quick break to thank our amazing sponsors for making this podcast possible.
40 years ago, you weren't in business unless you had your business in the yellow pages. You remember those things? And 30 years ago, you weren't in business unless you had a door-to-door salesman. 20 years ago, you weren't in business unless you had a website. And today, you're not in business unless you're doing social media content. Am I right? Social media content. Social media content in the form of like micro content, which is 30 to 60 second spots on Instagram Reels or TikTok or YouTube Shorts. That's the way business is done. As a matter of fact, that may be how you found out about this podcast or me as a business coach. This medium that we're using today to communicate what we do is vitally important. And just recording yourself isn't enough. You've got to do it right. And my friends over at Story do it right. And one of the problems with doing it wrong is that you sit around thinking, well, what the heck am I going to record? What am I going to say? How am I going to say it? Like, I don't know what to talk about. Well, Story takes all of that away from you. Stop wasting time trying to come up with content because Story will send you a video prompt on what to record. You can pick the categories you want to record in, whether it's real estate, entrepreneurship, finance, relationship, leadership, life insurance. It could be anything. Don't waste time on that. And by the way, if you're not confident in talking on video, or if the video editing portion takes up way too much of your time, Story will edit the videos to perform well on social media. They add the subtitles, the pop-ups, the zoom cuts. They remove all the filler words like and and They remove the awkward pauses. And then they take that video and post it for you. They write the captions, they add the relevant hashtags, and they post it on the platforms that you care about the most. It's exactly what you need to be in business today and to be successful at it. So if you want to learn how to do social media the way the influencers do, you need to go to therealjasonduncan.com/story. And that's story with 2 Y's. Why? Because they're awesome. Go to therealjasonduncan.com/story. That's STORYY for 10% off your first 3 months to try Story out. You're going to thank me later.
Thanks for listening to our sponsors. Now, back to the show.
Is if we set the right goals and we delegate appropriately and we prioritize and we can say no to things that are in the little rock category, then we stop being busy and we become more productive. And if we learn to say no to non-essential tasks, then we're able to focus on those top priorities and we can accomplish them much more effectively and much more efficiently. So I want to talk about this as it relates to mindset, because mindset is where all this begins. Everything in our lives goes back to mindset. It's how we have determined through all of our culmination of experiences in our life how we see the world. And so if you're in the habit of being busy all the time, that's because you have a mindset that tells you that's important. And it requires you to shift the radio station in your mind to a different station to pick up a different frequency so that you're not seeing busyness as a good thing. You need to see busyness as a bad thing. You need to be able to say when somebody says, hey, you've been busy lately? I want you to think about it before you answer and decide, no, I haven't been busy, and be okay with saying, no, I haven't been busy. The problem is a lot of people think that not being busy means you're being lazy, and that's not true. You see, the opposite of busyness is not laziness. The opposite of busyness is productivity. I want to be productive because when I'm productive, I have increased focus, I have increased creativity, I have increased fulfillment in my life, and I'm able to manage the right routines in my life, the right rhythm in my life. I can manage energy better. I can foster a better balance in my life. And really, this is what it's all about. It's about achieving success and being balanced in the process. Now, one practical suggestion that I give my clients when I work with them one-on-one is to come up with a plan for their focus management called the 10-block weekly schedule. Now, I've done another video on my YouTube channel, which is at youtube.com/therealjasonduncan, and you can watch a video about what the 10-block weekly schedule is. But essentially what the 10-block weekly schedule is when you divide your 5 work days into 2 blocks each. So 5 times 2 is 10. So you have 10 blocks in your weekly schedule, and you purposefully schedule things in certain blocks and don't allow any other type of activity to infiltrate those blocks. You know, I keep my blocks on Post-it notes right here at the bottom of my screen. And I'm going to peel my Wednesday because today's Wednesday when I'm recording this. I don't know what day it's going to come out. But if you look at this block, look, Wednesdays, coffee with Justin, record podcast. I don't do outside lunches. I record podcasts in the afternoon. I find guests for my shows if I need to, and record my EMS, my Entrepreneur Master Series. That's it. If it's not one of these things, I don't do it on a Wednesday. I'm not sending invoices. I'm not reading mail. I'm not writing things. Like those are for other days. And so one practical suggestion to keep you from being busy, yet to be more productive, is to stay committed to what you're focused on. Because time can't be managed, but focus can be managed. I once read about a successful entrepreneur who attributed their achievements to a shift from busyness to productivity. They started prioritizing self-care, setting clear boundaries, leading to greater productivity and overall happiness. And that story is not an anomaly. That's a story that can be told thousands of times. And so what I want you to do is let's figure out how I can help you through this show or through maybe some of my coaching services to overcome the barriers that are keeping you from sustaining productive life. What are the barriers that are keeping you? What are the obstacles that are hindering you from being productive? Is it procrastination? Is it perfectionism? Is it overwhelm? Because all those things are happening. Procrastination is just putting off till tomorrow what you could do today. I'll get around to it tomorrow. I'll get around to it tomorrow. I'll get around to it tomorrow. Well, when are you going to get around to it? Do it. Make the decision to get it done. What about perfectionism? Well, it's not finished until it's perfect. Well, that's not right. Perfectionism is an enemy. What about overwhelm, burnout? Those are also things that keep us from being productive. That's why I designed the business burnout test at businessburnouttest.com, where you can take that 10-question quiz to see if, in fact, you are burned out in your business, because it is an enemy to productivity. And if you can get past busyness, get past procrastination, get past perfectionism, get past overwhelm, get past burnout, and you really arrive in productivity, then you can maintain long-term success and balance in your life. I used to struggle with perfectionism. I've always been a perfectionist. I look back in my life and I always wanted things right. And I do have high standards. That's not changed. I have very high standards. I want things to look right. I want my editors who edit the podcast and my videos to make them look great. I want my assistant to do great work. I want my apprentice to do great work. I want everything to look a certain way. That's why I'm so committed to this brand, The Real Jason Duncan, to make sure it's great. I'm committed to high standards and excellence, but I'm no longer a perfectionist, because perfectionism keeps me from being productive. Perfectionism can keep you from being productive. But by practicing this newfound focus on productivity rather than busyness and perfectionism, I was able to focus on progress instead. And I was able to break free from that cycle of busyness and achieve a lot more productivity. Studies have shown that individuals who develop resilience and overcome obstacles are more likely to maintain high levels of productivity over the long period of time. So think about that. If we're looking at studies, and we've studied humankind and how we do things, that if you as an individual develop resilience and the ability to overcome obstacles, which is what resilience is, you're going to maintain high productivity levels over a long period of time. So what do I want to drive home in today's short podcast? It's this: don't be busy, be productive. You've got to prioritize productivity over busyness. That will lead you to achieve not only personal success, but professional success as well. That's my whole coaching program summed up in one sentence: is be productive, not busy. And when you do that, you can exit without exiting. You can live the exit lifestyle. And listen, the magic is in the action. The magic is not in listening to the podcast. The magic's not listening to it on 2x speed. I wonder I've never listened to myself at 2x speed. If you're listening to me at 2x speed, it's probably got really, really fast right now because I'm talking really fast. But I don't know what it's like to be you listening to this show. But here's what I do know. I know that if you just listen and you don't do anything different tomorrow, nothing changes. You'll still be busy and you'll still lack productivity. You'll still be overwhelmed. You'll still be stressed out. I recently came across a story of a musician who realized that being constantly busy was hindering his creativity. And by adopting a more productive approach and focusing on meaningful projects, he not only produced his best work, but also began getting recognition in the industry. Stop being busy. Start being productive. And if there's something I can do to help you, I've got only a few slots at the recording of this show. I only have 3 slots left in my Exeter program. And if you are an entrepreneur doing between 3 and 10 million in revenue annually or more, then I want to see if I can help you. And you can apply for my Exeter program at therealjasonduncan.com/coaching. You just go there, click on the Exeter program. It shows you exactly how much it costs. It's $125K for the year. It is a 3 to 5x ROI on that, because it's going to change your life from being busy to being productive, to being tied to the office, to being able to step away, to be able to live the life that you desire, to build your business around your life, not your life around your business. If you're interested in coaching with me, all you got to do is apply, because there's not everybody is qualified for that. But if you want to apply, go to therealjasonduncan.com/coaching and check that out. I want to thank you so much for listening to today's show. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for leaving me a review, for subscribing to this podcast. You have no idea how much that means to me, because the more subscribers and reviews I get, the more people I get in front of to help change this world to be a better place. Less busy, more productive. Please tune in again next time when I interview another entrepreneur or I bring you another solo episode about the keys to success, about the root of all success. Until then, I am the real Jason Duncan, and Jesus is King.
Attention business owners. Attention business owners. Feeling burnout from running your business? Uncertain if you're nearing burnout? Take our free 10-question business burnout test at businessburnouttest.com to discover where you stand. With just 10 quick questions, you'll learn how to immediately begin making changes to regain freedom and success. Cut your daily operations time in half. Improve your quality of life and prepare your business for your future exit without losing revenue or profit. Visit businessburnouttest.com now and take the test. Thank you for listening to another edition of The Root of All Success with the real Jason Duncan. If you've enjoyed this week's episode, visit therootofallsuccess.com to access the show notes and other helpful resources. Follow Jason on social media at The Real Jason Duncan. See you again next time here on The Root of All Success.